Okay, hey everybody. So today I spoke with Chris Tamburello, CT from the challenge, five-time winner, legend of the show. We spoke about his new movie, The Most Dangerous Game, which comes out on August 5th. And we also spoke about some challenge things like will he ever return to the show, him weighing in on the Johnny versus CT GOAT debate. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I wanted to mention one thing though. The audio was not the best. It was a phone interview. So I'm sorry about that. It's the best audio that I could produce for the interview. So besides that, enjoy the interview. Thanks, guys. Guys, so I am joined by a challenge legend, CT Chris Tamburello. And CT, you're a movie star now.
I mean, pump the brakes, huh? Please.
So you're starring in The Most Dangerous Game. It's a movie coming out on August 5th, digitally and at select theaters. It's a remake of the original, and it's coming out on the 90th anniversary, which is pretty wild. For anyone that hasn't seen the trailer, CT, can you give us a breakdown of the premise and of your character as well?
A man comes back from World War II, and he is completely broken. And his father, bless his heart, is trying to snap him out of it because he loves it so much. And he comes up with this idea to go on this big hunting trip. And they try to take a shortcut, long story short, and they end up getting stuck on this island. And come to find out, there's this runaway Nazi who's been using this small island as his personal hunting ground. Because he's become bored and hunting primitive animals has become stale. And we are his next target, I guess, his prey. And so basically, we got to run around and try to survive. He makes a game out of it because he's crazy. And he basically hunts us for 3 days. And if we survive for 3 days, then he lets us go, allegedly. My character, he is not what you would think. He's he was in the war and survived, but it's not. He didn't exactly sign up for it. For all we know, he was an accountant. And the things he had to do, he's torn between himself. He's fighting himself and the demons inside because he feels deep down that what he had to do to survive, basically, in his mind, doesn't justify him surviving. He basically feels like he turned into the thing that he was fighting to survive.
So this movie has a ton of well-known actors on it, like Tom Berenger, Bruce Dern, Judd Nelson. CT, what was it like to be acting alongside these guys, especially how seasoned they are in the acting world?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I grew up watching these guys when I was younger, So there was that level of, I had to go on set every day and try not to cheat, And that was different. But I tell you what, I was very lucky to have worked with all of them. I mean, they all took time, to give the new kid on the block, some tips of the trade. It was really nice. I'll be honest with you. I mean, because I basically got thrown into books, But luckily, I had a great coach, and I didn't fail any of them. We worked together for 3 months. And she had really done a good job of preparing me on what to expect. Common mistakes to avoid, and, to be there on set and to watch, Judd and Tom and Casper and Bruce, just to see them in action. I would go to set even if I wasn't shooting, just watch these guys in action, And you would think that, you can compare, there are similarities, right? Because it's in the same world, but two different animals altogether, For one, everything is very linear when you're on a reality show, right? Everything kind of happens in order, whereas, when you shoot a film, everything's out of order, so you don't want to turn it on and turn it off, remember where you're at, playing in physical state, and just watching these guys just turn it on and off like a light switch, and just to hear them riff about stuff in between takes, and it great learning experience. I mean, for this to be my first one, I'm very lucky. I really believe that. I really feel like, the moon and the sun have aligned for me. Have given me a great opportunity to share it.
So you say, you walk in kind of like the new kid on the block. I mean, if you compare that to the
I didn't even know who I was. First day of filming, I get there, and some people didn't even know who I was. I was asking, "Is this my trailer?" And they're like, "Oh no, that's for talent." I was like, "Yeah, no doubt. I'm just gonna go fuck myself in the cracking station. Bye." That was great.
Yeah. So being that new kid on the block, CT, I mean, comparing it to the challenge, I mean, you've done so many of them for so long, and now you're doing this new, scripted movie. I guess, was there a level of intimidation walking into that, seeing all of these big names and being kind of in a realm, I guess, that you're not used to, like doing reality TV?
Oh, well, I honestly feel like I felt surprisingly more prepared than I could have expected. For one, I got a few compliments from cameraman who one thing he was concerned about, he had brought up to me, was that me, the fourth wall, and because of all my years on reality TV, pretending that the camera's not there was second nature to me, right? Stunt wise, I mean, let's be honest, TJ's been shooting me out in Cannon for over 15 years now, so it was, whenever it came to anything stunt related, I mean, I have more than enough experiencing a fall and how to embrace one or not get hurt. That was nice. And then when getting into character, there were definitely there were emotions or feelings I could tap into related to the challenge. Like, say, for example, in this movie, most into this game, I'm running around for 3 days trying to survive while everyone's trying to kill me, right? Now, it's the same thing on a challenge when you're in a final. You're going to run around trying to survive and get off the island before, you get kicked off and killed,
Yeah.
So that helps. I tell you what, though, the difference is, what was really nice about it is that I can actually, branch out outside of a CG persona. I've been, to be able to tap into a lot of emotions and realize emotions that I could apply to Sanger. It was nice. It was a lot of fun. It was challenging. I love it. From one of the things I've heard was that surprisingly there's more depth to this character than expected. I think a lot of people are going to assume that he's going to be a meathead, catching bullets with his teeth while bombs are exploding behind him. It's not necessarily the case. I think I hope hopefully there's a Sanger comes off a deeper than maybe people are going to expect. I don't know what to expect. I just hope people see Sanger as Sanger, not TT. I
guess just talk more about just acting in general in a scripted show versus reality TV, where things are embellished, but at the end of the day, it's unscripted television. Can you just kind of, I guess, compare the two?
I would say the only similarities really between reality TV and film work is how do you coordinate. Granted, you're telling a story, entertaining and all that. Yeah. But two different animals for sure. That's the best way to describe it. There's a lot to learn. Still learn. Plan on it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. I love just engulfing myself into this person and just coming up with my own backstories and taking real life situations, past experiences, and being able to apply those emotions to, to tell the story that the director wants. It's very fortunate. I'm lucky to be able to have done this.
Well, you talk about feeling lucky, CT. Looking back to yourself at a young age, did you dream of yourself being in an action movie like this? Has this been a dream of yours?
A while ago, I did want to, and I always hide behind what reality TV was frowned upon, a different world, and if you wanted to, I didn't want to give up the guarantee, burn the hand and take a shot because of all these excuses. But I think deep down now, and I'm all I realized, I was, I'm scared. If you look at people from the past on these shows, like you look at like a Jamie Chung, she's amazing. Look at what she's done with her career. The Miz, he's always wanted to be a pro wrestler, and finally just made that bold decision to say, I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm going to chase after my dream. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Talking about the Miz and Jamie there, once they kind of moved into acting, well, in the Miz WWE, of course, they kind of stayed in that lane. Now for UCT, is this kind of a lane that you want to focus on now, is acting?
I mean, look, never say never. It's just, I feel like I've done all I can do, and there's not really much else for me to do. And I think one of the main reasons I kept coming back was because I wanted to prove to myself that I can, get back on track with my life. And, being able to, I guess this was like my third wind now, and to be able to come back on and to be as successful as I have been on the shows. And look, let's be honest. I'm older now. It's a young person's game. I mean, when I was a kid, I can't be filming these shows 2-3 times a year for 2-3 months at a time. I won't have a family to come back to. And it's another thing when you're, when you're on a film project, in between, working hours, you're, either preparing for the next day, like a regular job, or you're, I got my phone, I have contacts at home, I can fly them in and out. Whereas I'm doing these shows, the challenge, I'm off the grid for over half a year, 6 months at a time at least. That's not, and I just don't know if something I have to find some sort of, it's I don't know if it's something I would continue to look forward to. I don't know if that makes sense without coming off like a dick.
I actually I spoke with TJ Lavin a couple days ago, and I asked him this question. I asked him, there's a big debate in the challenge community. Who is the greatest challenger of all time? And TJ did pick Johnny Bananas over you, but he did say that if you guys were on a season nowadays, he thinks that you could probably take Johnny. Where do you fall in this whole debate? Who's the greatest ever, you versus Johnny?
Well, I mean, look, the only person I compete against is myself. And I think that's important. I think every day I tried to be better than I was yesterday. And that was part of the main reason I kept coming back for so long. But I think if somebody wants to go around campaigning that they're the best, it's like, with that Game of Thrones, you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, of course.
Any king who has to say he is king, there's no king at all. Look, I love Johnny. I do think that me and him were, in my mind, hands down, it was like the Cold War of rivalries, and I don't think it's ever gotten enough attention. Me and him all 1-on-1 against each other in the final. It would be, who knows, the moon and the stars align one day where, me and him are in a final together. Maybe that's another reason to come back, just to settle it once and for all. And the whole time, I just try to protect him and make sure no one tries to send him home, so that way I can compete against him in the final.
If you had to say right now, will you return to the challenge?
I mean, look, never say never. I mean, I've done this before, but I think you want. I mean, look, I got lucky at the lottery back in 2002, 2003. I didn't think my 15 minutes was going to last over 15 years. And, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate it a lot more, and because it's such a major part of my life. I mean, I basically grew up in front of everybody on television, my adult years, and it's such a big part of my life. I can't say there aren't aspects that I don't miss. I mean, because that would be a lie, but I don't know. Maybe, as time passes, I start to miss it more and more. I mean, who knows what will happen? Never say never.